Good morning, guys. I hope we're all sparkly and staying safe in these crazy times. It's easy to lose a sense of perspective. Now, we're going to talk about injections because the fear of injections is real. Is it disproportionate? Well, it depends on your perspective. The thought of injecting testosterone and HCG every day for the rest of your life doesn't seem very appealing, does it? However, if you've presented and suffered with symptoms of low testosterone, it's a risk-benefit discussion that you need to have with yourself. So if we're seeking normality and reversal of our negative symptoms, it's a trade-off. Now, you can consider other options like gels and whatever else there is on the market, but injections are gold standard. They are most effective in achieving stable levels where you can titrate the dose according to response. So it's a more scientific, logical approach to hormone replacement therapy, not testosterone replacement therapy, hormone replacement therapy, because we like the idea of maintaining function and optimizing testosterone with testosterone, working with the body, not against it. 30 plus patients now have managed to conceive with the use of HCG with testosterone. In traditional medicine, HCG is prescribed in male infertility, not in testosterone replacement therapy. However, at the Men's Health Clinic, we subscribe to the philosophy of maintaining function with HCG. I know it's not quite the same, but it mimics LH. I've explained this many times before. And optimizing your testosterone with testosterone cypionate ideally, because it's the preferred choice for subcutaneous injections, which minimizes the risk of excess aromatization. So, pin in every day for the rest of your life. Yikes. Is it a big deal? No. Honestly, over 600 patients now. Most of them are on daily test SIP, plus or minus HCG. Not everybody's on HCG. Some are on other compounds, Nebido, Sustanon. What else? I think that's it. And so, the idea is pretty daunting to some people. I've had very mixed reactions in the past. Obviously, the naughty boys, the steroid boys, when they see the size of the needle, they laugh in the face of injecting every day. Ha 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 ha. No problem. Because they were traditionally using blues or greens. The guys who transfer their care over from the NHS from Nebido, and they're using a horrendous green needle injecting 4 ml of castor oil. When they see the size of the needle that they're going to be using, they laugh in the face of injecting. So, should we see the needle? Ready? It is pathetic. It's a 29 gauge insulin needle. Just a little prick. Not something any man wants to hear. But it's a tired old joke. Just a little prick. It can be absolutely painless. It can catch a small nerve and sting a little bit. They all can sting a little bit, especially in virgin subcutaneous tissue and virgin muscle. And you can sometimes nick a small capillary. But there isn't really much go wrong. Isn't really much go wrong. I need my coffee. There isn't really much that can go wrong if you're injecting into the subcutaneous tissue. Now, one of the reasons why I insist on a face-to-face consultation is so that I can go through safe and effective injection technique, and I can be confident that you're confident in doing the injections yourselves. So, recently, I had a young lad come, and he came for a 60-minute new patient consultation, so we weren't going to start therapy. Took his blood, and he passed out. Shock him. He was devastated, but seen it all before. But it's like, well, you know, he was there going, "Oof, not sure I can be doing my injections. Listen, let's see what the scores on the door show, and we'll go from there." So he came back the next week, and he was a candidate for testosterone replacement therapy. So, keen to proceed. We went through injection technique, and I did the first testosterone injection. He passed out again. So, what on earth should we do? Because surely he passed out having his blood taken, and he passed out when I administered his first testosterone injection. It's all about this. It's all about psychology. It shouldn't actually be normal to expect to inflict pain on yourself. So, or somebody else inflict pain, more to the point. So if you come to somebody with a needle, the normal reaction would be, get the fuck away. But in your brain's going, I need this. He's not here to cause me harm. He's here to take bloods so that I can do. And when I injected him, again, he is here to help me, to show me what I'm supposed to be doing for the rest of my life, and he's actually helping me by giving me testosterone. But they had an abnormal autonomic nervous system response. So, fight or flight, rest relaxation, had a vagal response and passed out. What do you do? Well, you have to use this. So we were sat there, he'd recovered, he'd had one of our highly sugar biscuits that we give. It's a test when you come in. There's a choice of healthy biscuits, unhealthy biscuits, but in this situation he needed some water and he needed some glucose, so we had some unhealthy biscuits. It's all psychology. So I told him, I will supervise you doing your first injection, and this is the difference. This is the absolute difference. Him voluntarily doing it, he was fine, but having it done to him caused this abnormal vasovagal response. It's all about power of the mind. So now, pin in every day, no problem. We need to remember how important a sense of perspective is. I had another guy, he came down hundreds of miles, and it got to injection time. And he's like, complete panic. And he had to phone his missus, and it was like, why did you come down? Because you've got to get on TRT, you feel terrible, and this is the right decision. So eventually he plucked up the courage and injected. So he left thinking, cool, let's hope he's going to be all right. He ran into the room the next time I saw him. I feel 1,000 times better. It's like, wow. It's so wonderful when you hear these stories. Listen, if a 6-year-old kid can inject insulin, you can. It's needs must. And honestly, it's no big deal. I remember working in A&E, and I was in resus, and this IV drug user with tattoos absolutely everywhere. She was in one of the bays, and I went to listen. I need to take some blood, and I approached her with a needle, and it was like, I don't like needles. I was like, fucking hell, honestly, you know, you inject heroin and you've got tattoos. She didn't take very kindly to that. How dare you? How dare you? I said, well, can you not see the irony? Again, didn't go down too well. Bedside manner lacking sometimes, but it all boils down to this sense of perspective, and somehow it gets lost, and we need to regain that. So the reason for the face-to-face consultation is I need to be confident, and you need to be confident in what you are about to engage in, and it is a big deal. This is a lifelong therapy. This is something that will have, hopefully, a very positive effect on your physical and your psychological well-being. But it's involved. It isn't wham bam thank you ma'am. I wish it was, but it's not. There is a titration process. We need to find the optimal dose for you. So it boils down to not only the quantitative numbers, but how you feel, whilst making sure that we are taking into consideration all of the other biological markers that are involved in health. Again, I've banged on about this so many times. We need contrast in order to establish balance. So we do not need an excess of one thing without appreciating the effect it has on other physiological processes. Just keep working up the dose. No. Work with your body to find the optimal dose to help restore homeostasis, which is this complex process whereby your body maintains a stable internal environment despite external changes. If there's one thing this last 100 years has proved, is that humans are idiots, and we think we know better than Mother Nature. A case in point, this pandemic. Stay safe.